Give it to me. 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 Give it to me.
Dom's going from strength to strength. That'll be a name to watch, I think, in the next year or two, just to see how fast he can get. He's got a lot of potential.
Hi guys, I'm Average Dom Slim. I'm an average runner, but let me be very clear, my love for running, my passion is astronomically above average. Now I've been running what they like to call seriously for about 2 years. And as a serious runner, I have improved a lot. I'm also a YouTuber and I've been recording my journey for at least 1.5 years of that period. It's allowed me to document everything and share what I've learned with you all via my channel. So I've run here and far, track and trail, fast and slow, together and alone, and I've talked it through. God, have I talked. The races, the shoes, the injuries, the food. So this is my 2-year journey of running and making content, of training, racing, learning, and creating, trying to be the best runner that I can be. So I'm going to share with you the highlights, the lowlights, the medium lights, my PBs, some of the key lessons I've learned, and some of the rad people that I credit to my development. This is how I improved my running in 2 years. Now I'm going to stop you right there just very quickly. From runner to runner. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Alrighty then, on with the show. So let's start with a bit of a zoom out. Here is my timeline. Now, I didn't run during my school years. I preferred to play soccer. And on the odd occasion that I did have to run, say sports day, cross country, I was pretty rubbish. Now, after I left school, I did start to run a little bit around the suburbs with my old man. I was on and off running for several years because I preferred indoor soccer and gym. When I went overseas, I ran relatively regularly just as a way to stay fit. And in 2019, I actually did train for a marathon with my Ride or Die Roo. And we did that marathon in October 2019 with overall grossly inadequate training. So it wasn't until 2022 when I moved here to the Gold Coast when everything changed forever. So it turns out people ran in groups. Now running had always been an individual thing for me, a time to clear my head, find peace, be alone in nature. Sure, there are events, races, but people generally run by themselves, right? Wrong. So particularly since COVID, these running groups were just popping up everywhere. These people train together. They get coffee together. They even attend events together. So I tried it and it was outrageous. This running group, they did weekly sessions on a track and then later they would run up hills for fun. And on a Sunday, they would run for 2 hours starting at 5 a.m. Crazy. I loved it. Someone in the group asked me, "So are you a runner?" And I hesitated and I said, am I elite? "Oh no, that's not at all what I meant." "Oh no, I got you. No, I'm not a runner." I was still totally confused. You see, this might sound funny to you and even me now, but at the time, no one had asked me directly to identify myself as a runner. I'm just a guy who does running. I thought of it in the same way as that, I'm just a guy who eats cereal, but I'm not a cereal eater. Rest assured, that person never spoke to me again. So the next few months I spent training with the group. And I started to run 4 or 5 days a week, which was crazy to me. Keep in mind that before that, I'd never run 2 days in a row. I kind of thought you couldn't. So I ran around the track, I ran up the hills, and I eventually ran 2 hours on a Sunday at 5 a.m. I loved it, and I barely missed a session, and I was doing it with some of the best people I've met. They told me, you have a lot of potential. And I said, for what? Because I thought maybe they'd mistaken me for a child or something. And they said, as a runner, I continue to be confused by this. Thanks. Now, I didn't know that you could win a parkrun. I thought those who won parkrun were real runners, maybe even elite runners, I don't know. But suddenly, I was improving, particularly in the 5K. But suddenly, it was me. I was winning parkruns, and I was just out there at the front, competing against myself every week. It was shocking, and then exhilarating. So I'd return to training with the group each week, and they would say, we told you, keep going. So this is when I entered the race scene. These events, like the running groups, they just seem to be popping up everywhere. And I was absorbed immediately. The energy, the atmosphere, the vibes. I did my first event and I placed 4th in a 10K, then 6th in a half marathon. Then I raced a 15K and I got to step onto my first ever podium. I found momentum with my training and my racing. I started to grind out decent mileage with a varied and solid regime. I raced well, fueled well, rested really well, and then did it all again. The running community, the people around me, they were so supportive and encouraging, but one theme was constant. So, can't wait to see what you do in the marathon. So it's part of the running culture to run 5K and 10K and then train and do a half marathon and then be naturally upgraded to the marathon. It's just what happens. It didn't even feel like I had a choice. Now, no one counted my first marathon. I mean, I did. I know I had run a marathon. I didn't hide it. But everyone said, oh, you're totally a different runner now. A serious runner. So this is your debut. Your first real marathon. So at this point, training for a marathon, I am still, of course, learning on the fly, trying to lap up all this knowledge and experience of the fantastic people around me. I'm building, learning, then I feel something in my knee. Now, unfortunately, it's not my long-term semi-bad knee, it's my other knee. It's my supposedly good one, and that's not good. And while I do recover in time for the marathon itself, it hurts my training at a key time, it affects my performance, and it feels like a scuffed opportunity. Keep in mind, I did run a sub-3 marathon, that coveted time, and yet this crazy competitive running culture, I'd come away feeling disappointed. And then I back it up 4 weeks later by flying into the Australian outback and doing a marathon out there on the red dirt. And the crazy thing is, I won. So that was weird. So after a few weeks overseas, slowing down, running somewhere new and resetting, I come back fired up and ready to explore coaching. Now, I did not know that amateur runners could get personal coaching. And this opens up a whole new world. A raw runner getting refinement from elite runners / coaches to instill a spoonful of focus and a dash of discipline. Kilometers become minutes, mileage is built, thresholds are introduced, and results flow. And then I finished 2023 with my first local race win. And I'm starting to believe in myself. Running 100 kilometers a week has become the new norm. New year, new me. So I'm pumping out training and I'm flying high. And as race season rolls around, I'm raring to go. And I open the season with a half marathon in Hobart, interstate, and I finish in 4th place. Stoked. Racing feels a bit different now. There's expectation, mostly put on me by me, but I love it. I thrive under the pressure. So I back it up with some great results in local races, including winning the event that I placed second in the year before.
Sky Paris that ASICS just kindly sent me.
Then, as is natural, things turn their attention to the marathon. The mid-year beast, the one with whom I have unfinished business, a score to settle, a bone to pick. This time I put in an unprecedented training block, better than ever, alongside a great little series. Only to be beaten by the beast before the big dance.
And it's a stress fracture in the navicular.
As you can imagine, my running year was flipped on its head. I've spent weeks exploring possible causes. You can see wearing old shoes or shoes that are wrong for your feet can expose you to a risk of stress fracture. Mulling over training mistakes. Not eating enough calories. Thinking through theories. There is a simple and direct link between stress injuries and intensity of training. But essentially, I flew too close to the sun. So I've spent the last 3 months rebuilding. I say that and I mean it, and yet I haven't even started running again yet. So I quickly switched to cross training, and that was swimming and gym at first, to build muscle and power, and to keep myself sane, of course. And then once off the crutches, I introduced the bike as well, to start building some of that aerobic fitness. But what I've built most in this time is my mind, my ability to deal with bad news, and more importantly, my capacity to handle uncertainty. My patience with myself and my recovery, as well as others. I created space to rethink my motivations and remove my self-limitations. And I developed the flexibility to delay my goals, yet set them even higher. Now, do you remember the pit from The Dark Knight Rises? The underground prison in the ancient world with a well-like structure which reaches to the light. The only escape route? Everyone who attempts to climb out fails, and most die. Except Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce, I've been trapped in an underground prison. But like Bruce, instead of focusing on the darkness, I purely focus on the light. Every day, I focus on getting stronger and training for my escape. An escape can only be successful by extending oneself beyond human capability. Like Bruce, getting the flock out of there. I will restart running in the near future. I'll be starting from scratch. I'll learn how to run again and build from the ground up. Average Dom Slim 2.0. I will be smarter and then eventually faster and push into new territory. It's going to be rad, so subscribe now and join me as I restart. So that's it. That's 2 years. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't even tell you how exciting year 3 is going to be. You are not going to want to miss it. I'm Average Dom Slim, and I don't even need to say it, because I know that you'll do the right thing. In the past 2 years, I've trained with, raced with, and just been around some of the dopest people ever. And of course, others in my life have just been around forever. To all of you, I want to say thank you, and I love you. One especially.
Give it to me, 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 give it to me.